any injury updates you'd like to give us?
I don't. We're doing well on that end. Garcia's he's going to throw his side today, so he's clear to go. All good there. Got through yesterday fine. They all came out of their live BPs feeling well. So no, all good news on that end.
And what about Buchanan? Did you get further evaluation there?
I don't have any new news on beside it. I mean, it's clean. There's no fracture or tear or anything. So it's going to be probably take a little while, being the ankle. Anytime you sprain that ankle, the left ankle, especially when you're pitching, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay.
What are your plans for Luke Jackson?
My plans, well, he's going to throw a pen and start getting him ready. He's got a lot of experience pitching at the back end. He's excited about being here, so I look forward to watching him. I've seen him from the other side. He's got great stuff, spins it well. He's got a lot of swing and miss in that, so he's going to make this club better.
Will he be in the thick of the closer competition, I guess you'd say?
He will be in the mix because we don't have a defined closer, and we'll have better answers with that as we get deeper in the spring. But he's certainly in there. He has experience of doing it. He's closed some games. He's a high leverage guy. And then when you're looking at the other team, you're looking at pockets and where you want guys, and so he'll be in there somewhere.
What have you observed about Jack Leiter in this first week of camp?
In this camp here?
Yeah, this one,
Jack,
as opposed to the other one.
I can't say there's anything that stands out that's different right now. I mean, it's early. He had his first live BP yesterday, and he came out really nice. He was bumping 98. Showed great stuff. He's like everybody. He's getting ready. And we don't do a lot of evaluating the first time out, so, we want these guys to get comfortable and not overdo it. And our job is to try to keep them healthy here in the first week or two.
I don't expect you to evaluate. I don't expect you to, gauge where this guy is to make your team. But he's a big part of the future, and there is still some, uncertainty about where he's at. You're a pretty keen observer of players. I know you didn't just ignore him. I'm sure you formed some thoughts about where this kid is as he comes into this camp.
Well, growth happens in different ways. The speed of it with players, and I think you look at last year. Yeah, the numbers aren't great in the big leagues, and we've seen that a lot of times. But you look at the body of work in the PCL and AAA, how well he threw the ball, and pitcher of the year. So he just continues to improve, and that's what we think we'll see this spring and this season. It's going to be competitive out there on who's on that staff, but he's a guy that is competing for a spot on this team. And I really think we're going to see some good things from Jack this spring. He has come up with a two-seamer he's working on. That's in the early stages, and that's a pitch that he wants. He wants to be able to use, run in on righties, keep it down a little bit. So that's another weapon for him.
Do you think? I look at him and I see, okay, here's a guy who has a close relationship with his dad, who has lots of opinions about baseball. In pitching, he went to Vanderbilt. They've got a very involved pitching coach who he's still close with. Comes into the into the system. There's a lot of people with input. Do you think he's at a point where he's been able to now kind of filter voices a little bit? Because I think it can be overwhelming early.
Look, when you have a father that's had the career that he's had in the major leagues, that's a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, he's helped his growth. I mean, he was a number one pick. Not just because of talent, but probably because of being coached by his father. That's invaluable, and this game's about being coachable, and he's had great coaches, and that progress never stops, and he's getting great coaching now, and how you filter it, that's always a fine line there, because you want guys to be coachable, and sometimes when you try something a little bit different, it gets a little worse before it gets better. But we want them to have the conviction to press through it, and keep pushing. And we're not trying anything new on him right now. But the fact I mentioned that two-seamer, that's just another weapon that I think is going to be a good pitch for him.
So, with Jackson, that's your sixth guy with big league experience. I guess that leaves two spots open in the bullpen. Do those two guys have to have a certain quality? Do they have to be able to go multiple innings?
I think that will play a part. You always need somebody down there that can give you some innings. Those guys save the other guys. We've seen it with Dunning, Urania last year. So we have talked about that. A couple of those guys, it protects your starters, so could come into play. If you don't have those guys, then you're probably going to have to use the roster, the flexibility of it a little bit, to have guys that you can maneuver and maybe make changes during the year, and make sure we don't wear down anybody, and keep guys fresh. But guys that can give you innings. You always talk about the closer, the high leverage guy, but that guy down there that can give you 3-4 innings and valuable innings, they end up being the most valuable pitcher in the club. We saw that with Dane, with the job he did.
Well, it would help if you got some guys with options too.
And that's what I was talking about. So, you look at this, the high leverage situations, with some of these guys, we're not going to overextend them. So, we got to have coverage down there with innings.
So Jack Leiter seems like a good spot for him.
Yeah, there's a few guys, that we've talked about, and that's why it's being competitive here. That's and you got to fill your needs, and I think we have guys that can do that here.
Did you think in September, and I know it's like in April and May, it was just such a short sample size. September you get a little bit longer run. Do you feel like the quality of misses for Leiter got better?
I do. I think his confidence grew. I think each time he came up, it just looked like he was starting to grow into the progress of being a major league pitcher. That sense of belonging takes time sometimes, and so I thought the command was getting better, the confidence, the pace. I thought all around, I just thought he made improvement, and that's what you want to see. I get to see you at 4 o'clock, so you can think of some more then. You will be there, right?
You'd like to be done with this.
Yeah.
Is Mark Church a multiple inning guy?
I think he can be, yeah. Not a lone guy, though, but yeah. You're talking about a couple innings, yeah. Yeah.
How big a concern was the actual data on the drop in speed in Garcia's swing last year?
Well, I think anytime you have a drop in the swing, sure, there's some concern. Not just swing, maybe speed, first step, things like that. But I'll say this, from what I've seen this spring, he looks so much different. as I've said about the other guys, it's really evident. He worked so hard this winter to get back to being the player that he was the year before. And sometimes you have to get humbled, and I think he did last year, especially after what he did for us, helped win a World Series. And he got off to a pretty good start. Then when it started struggling for him, then he had a hard time dealing with it, I thought. And so that's an area I think he can improve at too, not just at skill level, but on the mental side.
It doesn't look like 2023 adults, the swing. It looks like he wants to recapture that, but it doesn't look like he did in 2023. The swing, it just looks that much.
How much what?
I think different.
Different.
The stride.
Yeah, quieter. He's shorter with everything. Just more direct to the ball. He's not trying to lift it so much, and that's what I've noticed here. In the early part of spring, but and he's so strong. He doesn't have to get long, try to hit home runs, and I'm sure he wants to hit those home runs. That's who he is, but it's all about hitting it hard. If he hits it hard, it's going to go out.
That's got to have a team-wide impact. I mean, in 23, we talked about him being the heartbeat of the team, especially in the playoffs, and just how guys fed off him. I mean, if you see more of that, that's got to have a team-wide trickle down. If he's kind of
Sure. I mean, I thought he was one of the guys the team fed off. He has a knack for coming through in the big moment. He wants to be in that moment, and like I said, he was humbled last year. It's defensively, not just offensively. His whole game, and it just goes to show you how difficult this game can be, and coming in behind. If you remember last spring, we couldn't play him in the early go there. He still wasn't ready to sprint, so he probably missed a lot of time on his workouts, and it catches up with you. You don't keep putting in the same effort, and I hate to say effort because he was hurt, but having the same time and effort, I should say. It's hard to be the same player.
So in September of 23, you hurt his knee jumping for that ball in right field, and then you hurt his back. So everybody was like, "Oh, the back or not the back, the lat or whatever it was." So he still had some knee stuff he had to get over last off season as well.
Yeah.
That he never quite cleared.
Yeah. The knee, it was there all year. Once he did that, and he says it feels great now. And just watching him run the bases, you just see a different spring in his legs, and that knee is, it's bothered him at times, even in 23, but not to the point where it was in 24. And so he's worked hard on building that up, and he says he doesn't feel anything now, and we like to make sure that we keep it that way, and by taking care of him too. But when he's healthy, you've seen it. I mean, he plays with his hair on fire, and you can see a difference just the way he was moving around. I think because of the knee.
What's an example of quieter that's noticeable to you?
Not a lot of movement, not a lot of length. I'm talking about with the stride or the swing itself, but staying behind the ball. That's to me being a quiet hitter. Like Corey, for example, he's a pretty quiet hitter. It's pretty direct to the ball. Marcus.
Speaking of Marcus, him being next to Sebastian, I don't know if that's on purpose or not in the club Walcott, in there. What kind of an example can somebody like Simeon be for an 18-year-old with the talent that Sebastian has?
Yeah, there's different ways to lead, vocally, which he'll be talking to them with their lockers right by each other, but also just by example. I'm sure Sebastian will watch Marcus and how he goes about his business. As you well know, nobody sticks more to his routine as consistently as he does. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Every day he's out there taking his ground balls, doing his BP routine, his conditioning, and so for a young player to see that and to see why he's so good, then they learn from that.
Robert Garcia come out of the.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, it was a good day for him.
Is he projected to be ready for the start of the year?
Oh yeah. He's not there. He's not behind. And we told him that. He wanted to try to get back out sooner. And then we said, hey, we have plenty of time, man. He's not competing for a spot on this team, but being a new guy and being young, I'm sure he wanted to make a good first impression and be out there with the guys. But no, he had a good bullpen session.
Another new guy, Jock Pederson. I know he's had the flu coming back, but what kind of spark do you think a vet like that, with the swagger that he seems to play, what can that do for a clubhouse? I
love it. I think that helps the clubhouse when somebody's walking around with swagger and confidence, and that's who Jock is. As much as that, man, he enjoys the game. That's contagious. Just joking around, smiling. That's how you want your players to play. We deal with a lot of ups and downs, but to have somebody that is going to walk in that clubhouse every day and keep guys loose and have some fun playing, I love it. We've seen some other guys make a difference in the club, not just with their talent, but who they are.
One thing that we were talking about when we arrived yesterday, seeing all the cameras, all the computers everywhere. I know this is not new this year necessarily, but I just would love for you to speak to how much the game has changed as when you see all of the technology around the fields right now compared to years past. No, I mean, it's changed a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean we've seen it. I mean it's changing every year too. You're getting more technology, and we're keeping up with it. We have a tremendous staff here as far as analytics, and we want everything available to these players that anybody else has. So we don't want somebody to have the edge on us, and and we use it. We want it on a daily basis too, as you see, so we can make any adjustments. And it's a great teaching tool. It's great to have all this information, and some things you can't see with the eyes, and so these guys are they're looking at it after their workouts, their throwing sessions or BP sessions, and seeing if there's something there that they can learn and help out. So you never saw this years ago, but that's really everywhere in life. That's where we are.
But it's instantaneous feedback. Like,
yeah,
Evaldi can throw a pitch and ask, hey, what was the velocity or spin rate or whatever.
Anything he wants, yeah.
So that's got to be the biggest.
Yeah, but you know what? You do have to. You can't. I mean, you do have to keep your focus on what you're doing out there, and that's making your pitches, commanding the ball, or getting a hitter out, whatever it is. So we don't want them to be focused on that during their session. Maybe after, or if there's something they felt really good about that pitch, they may want to ask. Yeah, that's fine. Again, it's a great teaching tool, but you don't want. Last thing you want to do is be a robot out there too, and that's the same with the swing. You got to be able to adjust on the fly. You can talk about bat speed all you want, but if you can't adjust up or down, breaking ball, fastball, well, that's not going to serve you well.
I may have asked this already too, but senility is a hell of a drug. I did some research, and this is going to come as a surprise to you, I know, but last year this team struggled to hit fastballs. Are you aware of that?
Very much aware of it. We talked about it quite a bit.
Can you come out of the spring convinced that you're a better fastball hitting team?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I can tell you now, just looking at some of these swings, I think they're in a better position to hit the fastball. Sometimes you can get, some different thoughts in their head. And what I'm talking about, maybe not the breaking ball too much, because they're spinning the ball now more than ever. So now you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get that. I'm going to look for it. I don't want to look bad, taking a bad swing at it. But, still the hardest pitch to hit in baseball, I think, is a good fastball because you got to get to it. And but I think some guys got away from it because we were getting spend a lot earlier. I'm talking about in the season or in 23. And then, they started going fastballs because they're getting numbers. They're looking at it. And so I think the guys have cleaned up some things.
Like the thing for me that makes it difficult is, right, we talk about spring and we talk about Arizona. And pitchers aren't ramping up all the way. They're probably going to add another couple miles per hour when the regular season lights go on. We talk about movement out here and how much it's reduced because of the atmosphere. So that's the thing that keeps running through my head is like how much of a gauge we get. And for me, it sounds like you're talking about you'll get a gauge based on just guys' mechanics, not so much like how they catch up to velocity.
Yeah, I agree with that. When you are sitting soft, you do change your mechanics a little bit. You actually can take a longer swing. You can catch up with it. So, yeah, they'll be hitting off velo machines and things like that. But, our two new players, we know very well that they hit the fastball very well. And it's, it's something that's contagious too, I think, when, you get somebody in the lineup that other guys can feed off on their approach. I've seen that before.
Were you always super open to the technology aspect? Did you have to grow?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I certainly did. I didn't want to be Mr. Wilson. I try to keep up with it. Now, there's stuff out there I couldn't tell you what it is, but we have our analysts, and we sit down and talk. They help in our preparation before every game. Again, you want to get all the info you can, to not just help the players and help yourself prepare to put them in the best position.
Was that a Dennis the Menace reference?
Yeah.
Back to sorry.
You
Go
too
ahead.
young.
I just did confuse me.
Who you think of Bobby Wilson, weren't you?
I was thinking of Wilson the volleyball in Castaway, but go
There
ahead.
you go. I did want to ask you one more question about Sebastian, just about the natural ability that you see there, because he does not look like an 18-year-old when you see Walcott in person. What has been your impression of him?
Oh man, he's got some presence, doesn't he? I mean, he looks like a major league player. I know he's not there yet, but I'm saying you look at him and the body, how he moves, his swing. I mean, this kid has such a high ceiling. So I'm looking forward to having him here all spring and just watching him. I've just spoken to him a little bit so far, but I'm looking forward to spending some time. But I think he's got a chance to be really special.
Can you talk?
Go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit about your mindset going into Game 1 this spring?
I gotta be honest, I really haven't thought about it yet. It's a couple of days away, but when we get there, it's always good to get the game started. I say every spring, you get the pitchers and catchers there. They're there for a day, and we're waiting on the full team, and now they're here. Now we're waiting on the first game. So we're all eager to get the guys on the main field. That's exciting. See the fans, and it just bring some more energy because they're working hard out there, and you play the game to get out there and play a real game. And so I'm excited to get that first game going.
What about the dynamic with CY and what makes him such a great part of the operation, the way he does things? For you personally, you've been a part of some great organizations and great teams, but specifically, what is it about Chris, do you think, that has made it to where he's been so successful so quickly with this organization?
Well, I'll start with passion. I mean, he loves the game. He loves these players. He loves to win. He's driven. I mean, that's what I've really have enjoyed being around him is, how much he cares about these guys and how much he wants to win, but in the right way. So he's established these core values that that has been set with this club. Of course, being a good teammate, just dominate the fundamentals, things like this, and play with passion, and that's who he is. And so, they know exactly where they stand with CY. He's honest, straightforward with them, and he's going to do all he can to help us. He gives us the resources, and he's always taking the blame. That's my fault. I got to get you somebody else. It's not. He's done just a tremendous job.
Hey, Bochy, we had we had like a Zoom for broadcasters, and they said that they're testing out the technology, not just for the ABS, but for check swings, and that I think their line is going to be like a 45-degree angle. I don't know how much that's been discussed with you, but I guess that can be a challenge. But I guess my question in general is, we've had all this time and the check swing's never been really defined. I'm curious if you like that maybe they're trying to put some sort of definition to it.
I do, because it's just so subjective when the guy's taking a check swing, and it's so hard to see, especially you're getting these different color bats and things. It's a tough call, and that, I think at times it becomes a guess. That's how quick these swings are going back and forth at a player that he never did go, but he always looked like he went, and he did it a lot. So now I'm curious how this is going to go, how it's going to be defined, and see if we can get a little better at calling that pitch here, because it's a big call at times. But I don't know how it's going to work. Really, over the years, it's not something I thought about going, hey, we have to do something. But now that they're talking about it, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Might not, might save me from getting thrown out. That's a good thing.
Do you think you've been thrown out more? Like, what type of call do you think has led to your ejection?
That's one of them. Yeah, that's right. Right up there with the player I was talking about. I think he got thrown out a couple of times just with him, yeah.
Speaking to Josh Young today,
Yeah.
he seems extremely excited, to be out here working with all he's been through. What have you seen from him from an attitude perspective with all he's had to handle? And here he is now. He's flying around.
I agree. He is excited. He's a baseball rat. He loves to play, and for him to miss all that time last year, I'm sure that was tough on him. And he's getting to do what he loves, and you can see he's really excited about how he feels, how he's swinging the bat. Last year, coming back, it was still bothering him, and the bat speed was down a little bit. And man, it's hard enough to hit major league pitching, man, when you're just healthy, but when you're not, it was a battle for him. But he was trying to be a warrior. He wasn't trying; he was a warrior by going out there. But now, that's further behind him. He's got the strength back. He's swinging the bat well. I'm excited for him.
His injuries haven't been chronic. It's not like he has a bad knee that you have to look after. So when we talk about managing pitchers and all that, do you have to worry about managing him? Do you just say, just go out?
No, I don't think you can. He's young. You gotta let him go. Just hope that the bad luck is behind him. To your point, they're kind of a freakish type injuries, but we're hoping, knock on wood, he stays healthy. He's such a big part of this offense, and you hate to say he's injury prone. I don't think you want to put that label on him, although he has missed some time. But hopefully that's behind him. It's just been bad luck, and I don't know how many times. I think it's been 3, hasn't it? Yeah. Well, they say it runs in 3s. All right, let's get it over with.
He talked about wanting to be more of a vocal leader and kind of stepping into that leadership role. How important is that to this team, and how do you see him kind of fitting into that being a more
Yeah.
outspoken guy.
You know, that comes usually with time and, you know, wanting to do it. I appreciate players who want to step in the breach and be leaders, and you know, that's important, I think, to a clubhouse, you know, within the group, you know, not just from the coaching staff, myself. I think it just does a great job of making each other accountable, and when it comes from up here, I see it a lot. It's a little bit different, you know, when they hear it from them in certain situations. And so, no, I see that coming with him. Really with all our young players, you know, they're just not talented players, but I do think they're leaders.
When speaking to players, you know, even the hitters, about the expectation for this season, it seems like the pitching staff is immediately brought up. They talk about how excited they are about the talent there. What do you see? What kind of ceiling is there for this rotation when you have DeGrom and Evaldi and these young, it's a good blend there too. What kind of pitching staff can this be in 2020?
Oh, I think we can be one of the better staffs in baseball. I do. You know, with the guys that we have up there, you know, with the veterans, of course with Bradford, and then you're looking at the young kids, the Rockers and Leiters. But no, it's a staff with experience and stuff. You know, I'm talking about the starting rotation, the bullpen. Yeah, that's going to be a question. We say, okay, that's fair. But when you look at the guys that we have brought in and the experience we have there, I think it's got the makings of a very good bullpen, and that's part of our job is to get it, you know, lined up right and put them in the best situation they can be in to help us win a ball game.
If you are better against fastballs this year, will this offense be? Finish that sentence.
It's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot more productive. It's going to have a lot more slug to it. Yeah, I think that was, you know, an issue that we had last year. I mean, the numbers show that, and so guys are working hard to. The guys that were here and did have their struggles have worked hard to, you know, to try to, you know, make that adjustment. It's all about adjusting. The pitchers adjust to you, you got to adjust back, and that's what these guys are trying to do. Doesn't mean we're going out there cheating and we're going to swing and we're swinging too early or wildly to where we don't handle off speed. It's just, you know, trying to tighten things up a little bit.
So give me your three reasons why you have conviction that this team is going to be significantly better against fastballs.
Well, I looked at a couple adjustments on someone like Garcia. You know, I know he wanted to adjust there, and so I think he's tightened things up. Is he where he wants to be right now? No. That's why you have spring training. So, you know, it's a little bit of a work in progress there, but. I think you look at Duran. I like what he's done. He's lowered his hands. He's opened up a little bit. It's enabled him to clear the hips a little bit better and not smother that fastball. And so I think he's going to be more productive. And then you have to look at our new faces. You know, when you look at their numbers, they have a history of doing a great job against the fastball. And so it is a priority for the hitting coaches, you know, to be able to, you know, adjust to the pitchers that we're going to see. They may be more fastball type pitchers or off speed, whatever. That's what makes, you know, good offensive teams is guys who can adjust to who they're facing.
Is there anything you demanded after last season on the fastball stuff?
Well, you know, I think we all said, but I know I would like to see us be on time a little bit better and get the ball in the air a little bit more. Doesn't mean we're uppercutting trying to hit home runs, but, you know, point of contact, you know, it needs to be out front probably a little bit more, but you know, sometimes it's the approach, and you know, I think some guys are just sitting breaking ball too much, and so if these guys you know, make a little adjustment, they can hit a fastball. They've done it, and they could do it again.
That was a line in dodgeball.
Huh?
I think that was a line in dodgeball.
It was.
If you can catch a wrench, you can catch a ball, something like that.
He executed that one
It's
well
even
at all.
usual that a team
It
would
was
be able to
really
hit
poorly
fastballs.
done.
To the extreme that you guys struggle.
Well, there's teams in the league that, we attack with the fastball a little bit more than others. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now, it used to be, you go back, I mean, that's what everybody sat on and went for, and you still have to be able to hit a fastball in our game. I don't think that's ever going to change, but and facts are you're seeing more off speed,
Like,
but you're seeing more fastball, more velocity now than you've ever seen too.
like I don't take anything for granted, right? I mean, it's incredibly hard to hit a baseball. We know all that. But for a guy who's managed for 30 years, like I just wonder, like how it hits you. Like, why can't anybody around here hit a fucking fastball? Like I'm not trying to be a smartass, but to me, it's like it had to be the most maddening thing to you to like have a team that just as a whole seemed to.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I'd be lying if I didn't say it was a big topic. It was, I mean, Donnie and I spent a lot of time together about it in Tempe, and we talked today. Because that's what we were brought up as hitters, that, don't miss the fastball. You don't have to worry about the off speed so much, but you have to be able to hit both pitches. But to be as consistent as we were on being late and not being on time, it was frustrating because they can do that, and I think a couple of guys got long in their swings, and sometimes that comes from sitting on something else, and consequently, they weren't on time. And I mean, I'd look at video, and we were missing pitches we used to crush the year before. So it was a little frustrating.
So early on in games, position players will get 2 or 3 at bats.
Yeah, first game they may not even get that. Depending how it goes, starting early. A lot of springs their core guys start a little bit later. You break them in, but tomorrow they'll be out there. They're all going to be out there. Well, not all. I mean, I got to split it up a little bit so I can have some reps out there for the fans. But so it could be cut a little bit short the first week.